The following podcast contains mature language and adult discussion.
I'm headbanging to our theme song, which you should not do right now.
Right.
Before your trip to Colombia. What city?
Medellin.
Medellin. Oh, listen, you bringing some extra suitcases by any chance?
It's a beautiful
Don't need
country.
that.
Beautiful country, beautiful city.
No problems, yeah?
No,
It's not like
no.
overrun with
No, it's 20 years
gangs
ago.
and crime. It's all
No.
over.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Just checking.
I mean, Escobar, basically what he did was he went down there and built an infrastructure of, medical centers and schools. And I mean, he was considered a Robin Hood to the people.
Yes.
And people that were got caught up in the violence were people that were involved in the actual trade and trying to fuck people, and it wasn't like there was drive-bys and shit like that. It was
That's more Mexico, I think.
you go down.
Although I don't know. I have
you
to-
go down to Medellin, and it's like you drive through the cities, through the city, and it's like everywhere you look, there's two guys in a shop putting together like handmade mirrors, and there's four guys in a mechanic thing working in bays. Like everybody's working their ass off. Everybody eats. There's no preservatives in any of the food. It sits in a bowl, and it's like 86 degrees year round down there. It's like the most unbelievable, perfect place to grow poppy. Imagine that.
Yes.
But
They'll probably
it's-
get into that someday. I think.
Yeah, they probably will. But it's a gorgeous. The only thing missing, man, if that had any kind of a view of water, ugh. And at nighttime, everything is like there's a billion high rises.
Right.
And at nighttime, they have these spectacular lightning and thunderstorms that kind of sit outside the bowl and just kind of just give you something to look at. And it's just, I don't know. I'm looking forward to going down there for more of the chill factor, because this is like this is the first time that I can recall that I'm traveling besides going up to Michigan, which was just too short, and then it was on the end of a 13 out of 18 day travel tour, before I went to Michigan. That this will be the first time that I'm going down there to take care of some medical needs for myself, and also just chill.
What about your accommodations? How are the places?
Place I stay at's gorgeous. Hooked to a mall. The mall's hooked to the medical center. So there's an unbelievable gym. There's 4 or 5 great restaurants inside the mall, and I'm not talking about fast food. I'm talking about sit down and eat a 12-ounce chicken breast that's organic and pay like $6 for it.
Mm.
Yeah,
Very good. You're having your neck addressed, though.
that's my major concern. I
reason.
had MRIs done, and my orthopedic doctor is Dr. Brad Holman, and he called and we went over it, and he just said that my neck's, it's always been bad, but it's just getting worse, and it's starting to the curve's the wrong way, and I'm starting to get some compression on some of my nerves, and I've got stenosis, and I've got a lot of things going on. The last time that I went down to a bioaccelerator, it was night and day, and I'm not kidding you. It was 12 to 18 hours after they injected my neck that I got
Felt something?
I got relief. I got instant relief, and so I'm hoping for if I could get, like, my neck's been bothering me for like the last probably year, and I went down to Chipsa in Tijuana. That's Ed Clay's place, and I just didn't.
The fighter?
He used to be a fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, he used to be. Yeah, they're all and I just think that they went into the side of my neck and bioaccelerated your face down, and they go in. I just seem to have gotten better results neck wise at bioaccelerated than I did Chipsa. So
This can't be cheap.
no, and I'll find out what it would. I mean, I'm going down as an influencer, so my job is to influence those. But to me, this is. I mean, if this doesn't work, this isn't a, at least a ground rule double. I mean, if I'm not standing on second when this bitch is over, then my next move is they're going to have to fuse my neck on several levels, and that's something I'm not looking forward to.
Oh, you'll move around like Greg Valentine in the ring, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. So, so this is kind of
good luck.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely paid the price.
Yeah.
And so now I'm hoping, that
It's a quick procedure. It is literally just a shot. Multiple shots, maybe.
I mean, it's they're putting injections. I actually have a picture. It'll take me a couple seconds.
Yeah, text that to Steve. You can bring it up on the screen here. So you lay down, face down.
Face down, and they do several. I think they do.
Do they check the colon in the same visit? Could they? Because you could, while you're laying there, you may as well just get a few things done.
I think that even though you're kind of in twilight, like the procedure's done kind of in a twilight procedure, I think that the actual rough housing of the colon might cause for some tightness of the neck.
Oh, that's true, right?
Yeah, probably throw off.
You'd break the head of the syringe right off.
Let me see if I can. I know I have a great picture of them. Oh, here it is, right here. So, how do I get this?
Just text it. Text the picture to Steve, and he can bring it up on our screen for everybody.
You'll be easier for me to.
Okay, and then I'll text it to Steve.
Yeah.
And
let me see here. Go to gallery.
Hello, Ryan. Yes, we should tell everybody watching us or listening to us on Monday that we are, every week, we are a live audience taped show now, so we can interact with those that have become 11 soft members of Kliq This TV. In addition to that, they get exclusive stuff like Nash and Friends, which we'll remind you about in a little while. It's going to happen tomorrow night, Tuesday, when we're joined by Mr. Sean Waltman, X-Pac.
Yay!
More on that later. We'll see him tomorrow night. Yes, this you get to be part of a live audience taping, and you know what? The great thing for those Nash and Friends watch-alongs, y'all sitting in the room here, you'll be up on the screen now in the in little windows, Zoom style. Steve, I think it'll be StreamYard though, will it not?
All right, Steve. This should be coming your way right now.
We're making him far too busy. I'm asking him if the watch-alongs will be StreamYard, and he's downloading a picture, tightening his belt. There's a lot going on over there.
And it's still visualizing and having his colon checked.
Yes, I think that's what knocked him off track. But so be part of all that with everybody here. Go to Kliq This TV and find out how to. Friends like Jen and Gregory and
I just want to go on record. This is the first of maybe 8 shows that I did not consume THC prior to the.
You're breaking the deal here.
You know what they told me to. And there we go. So there's the some of the procedure there, and that's yours truly, face down, and they're injecting stem cells into my neck.
Clearly caught some of the Medellin sun before going in for the procedure.
I used to be a tan. I used to be
Golden tan.
You got to realize, man, I was still working. So you got to keep that. Now I'm not working, so I don't need to do any more damage to my body than I have to.
Exactly.
I just want to be able to work out. So that's it, man.
It's going to happen, and you'll get the real time results.
I'll be. Thank you, Matt. I'll be doing follow-ups, and while I'm down there, I'll have a film crew follow me around. And
so this will be covered for of course, for our show, but for
BioAccelerator, which I'll get the tape and run it on our show because. But
right,
this is
surgical footage. I love surgical footage. First thing in the morning, so if we can run that, maybe a few.
There won't be any
nose jobs.
There won't be any. There won't be any. We're gonna have that Dr. Pimple Popper. She's gonna come on. She's gonna get this fucking ingrown hair out of my ass before I travel again. I've been on so many planes in the last month. It's just like the one thing there's nothing you can do, man. Just when your ass goes from 11 hours on an airplane to 2 hours in a lounge to 4 hours at a bar to up in your room, lay in bed,
right,
get up, get a little workout in, back on a bus, sit down 9 hours in a chair in front of people signing. I mean, and then back on do that for 2 days, back on a plane. It's like
you got chop meat on the fucking
and you don't have your scrub brush, loofahs, none of your shit with you. You got a washcloth. It's like, oh boy, that works well. So next thing you know, you wake up and you got a golf ball, in the fucking crack of your ass. So
that's fun.
Yeah.
Some feedback from y'all. Blake Mead says, LOL. At this point, Punk is playing the dirt sheets and marks like a cheap fiddle, and I'm so here for it. We kind of said it might be a negotiation strategy, or
no. Remember when he did this? He took the belts around to indie things.
Yeah.
This is all he's doing is getting his name out there because he's gonna kick off that Saturday show for AEW.
Right. Well, I mean, I think that I really dug that when that belt thing happened, which, what was that, 10 years ago now, maybe? Probably not 10. But anyway, I just thought they could have gotten such legs out of it. They could have really run with that. 12 years down? Jesus Christ. And just really run with it and not made it any part of, or seemingly not any part of WWE. Literally have him pop up with a belt. You don't have to send a camera crew. Everyone's got phones. It would be out there. Wherever he went, it would be out there. And they could have stretched a year out of that fucking thing. Him going all over the place.
Yeah, but that doesn't put any money into the kitty for the WWE.
Well, he could be coming back. He could be coming back to the tapings to Raw, but then during the week.
Then what does that do? Then it's bogus because
it was done in a month.
It's all you can get out of something like that.
I don't believe that. I think they could have.
Okay, how many times can fucking David Copperfield make the Statue of Liberty disappear in a month?
But it would change. It would change. You'd see people trying to cut him off in Butte, Montana at the VFW, and then an impromptu fucking match happens in the ring with him and one of the WWE roster.
Then all you need is some fucking shooter to fucking get a hold of him and get a 1, 2, 3 someplace on him, and they got
No. It would be a WWE worker. You'd send a worker who.
I'm just saying, when you're out there doing that shit, you got a chance to have somebody fucking get on the fucking loud horn and say, by the way, CM Punk's match, his belt is now a 24/7, and some fucking shooter from North Dakota comes over there and fucking,
What a great story. Adds a little danger.
yeah, adds a little danger. And fuck, you thought they went through enough fucking bullshit to stop fucking Brett, with the screw.
Montreal.
Yeah, you thought the screw job. Jesus Christ, the screw job was planned better than the fucking Kennedy assassination. Yeah,
It'd be great to have Michael show up and fucking shoot on Punk. Don't even tell Punk it's going to happen. Ring the bell. Jeff Childs.
All of a sudden, turn around, Earl's there. What the fuck?
Yeah, brilliant. Jeff Childs says, do you really have to pick a political side? I like Trump and I like Tucker. I don't mind if you like the other side at all. Don't matter to me. But the way you go about it is insulting to Republicans. And I love Nash and always have. Love you, Sean, always have. Let's play nice.
Okay, number one, Trump today stated that he is not a Republican.
He's never been. We
Right.
kind of know that.
But he's not a Republican, and that's why they lost the midterms, is because they tried this GOP shit, and he's always been everyman, and he's not a Republican. So Tucker Carlson definitely isn't a fucking Republican. What was Megyn Kelly? That's who was there before at Fox.
The announcer?
Yeah.
Megyn Kelly?
I saw a piece today that since Tucker's left, Tucker was Hannity's feed. Hannity's down 40%. Laura Ingalls down 45%. Fox on a whole has lost 60% of their fucking viewership. I mean, and they're saying that, the people are interchangeable. Not at this point. People aren't interchangeable.
The personalities, you mean, on the...
They were, when Bill O'Reilly leaving, Bill O'Reilly didn't conjure... Bill O'Reilly didn't get the fucking January 6th tapes.
Sent to him exclusively.
He
straddled the line a lot more.
Yeah, as we also find out that, that was part of McCarthy getting his, the speakership is, fucking Tucker was pulling the strings on that whole fucking deal. So I'm not talking about playing nice. I'm just all I'm doing is calling it down the middle, man. Like, fuck, if your guy fucking swings at 3 pitches, he's out. That's just baseball.
That's what I was going to say, Jeff. And I give you respect for posing it as a question and not an insult, which is what so many people feel have been given implicit permission to do by a lot of the douchebags that find elected office and confront issues that they diverge from by insulting the other side rather than just presenting their case as if in a courtroom. So, Jeff, I'm sorry you liked. I don't know what there is to like about Trump other than the entertainment value. So, I mean, there were a lot of politicians you could have said here that you liked that we could have had a debate about that. I can't even debate that you like Trump and Tucker was a snake oil salesman, and you see that. So,
I think that I don't know. I mean, I think that during the news cycle that it's good for the top. Let's just say he used the term Republican. So your top Republican candidate is got a civil suit for rape. Didn't like when they showed the deposition tape of Trump, he pretty much didn't sound like a narcissist when he said he was a star, and Then he goes on to say that
she's not my type. She was not my type. It couldn't have happened.
But the thing was, the best one was, it's been like this. You can grab their pussy. It's been like that for 1,000 years, or maybe more.
Oh, that tape. The
the deposition. He said it could be. No, he said they made reference to that. During the deposition, and Trump said that's that could be a bad thing or could be a good thing. What?
Moronic. Well, Jeff, when you said insulting Republicans, not insulting you. I mean, you brought up your point here. I'm sure you could have gone further about why you like these individuals. But what tends to happen is it goes very personal. Well, we'll continue to read the feedback. I think I have one in there somewhere. David's PS deals.
Good job numbers this month again.
Good. Oh, in the jobs report.
Yeah,
yes.
Unemployment down to 3.4%.
Absolutely. We're working.
Now all you got to do is that last 3.4%, give them a musket and put them down there on the border before we get overrun. And
exactly. Joe, what are the population levels? We know what the job numbers are. What did our population go up to in the last month?
Exactly. In fact, they went down today. I was watching the news this morning. They went down and some girl was at the wall, and it looks like a stadium seating for the Who. They're waiting to get in, and she said, "Well, it appears to me that the deluge of refugees has already showed up."
Yeah,
it's horrendous, man.
We've talked about this.
Yeah, there's people down there with people down there with and the great thing is this is they show the shot and they're at like our portion of the wall, and in the background 400 500 yards away is the Mexican wall, which they are clearly between the Mexican and so exactly what's going on over there at that Mexican wall.
That's called the neutral zone.
I think they're using
the party zone.
I think they're using our app on there, fucking finding openings to buy tickets to get through the
Game Time.
Yeah, Game Time selling section 6-4 of the gate. We'll have an opening from noon to 2 tomorrow.
I have to check the app. Maybe it's on there. You could hit it. You can get a view into the United States, like the seat view. David's PS deals. Yeah, go ahead.
No, you definitely don't want to come in, into the Rio or anything like that. You want some solid footing when you get
absolutely.
To the other side.
Yeah, no, I don't want to get wet.
No.
David says, listening at work right now, overnight grocery stocking. Sean brought up the pine tar incident. What about the George Brett shitting his pants story? I would love to hear your reaction. Played it on the podcast as well as any stories of wrestlers shitting their pants. I'm not familiar with the George Brett shitting his pants. Are you? Okay, I'd have to look into that, David. But we hear sometimes Andre had some bowel issues. I don't know how intentional it was. Maybe on someone he didn't care for, or when you consume 178 cans of beer and 4 bottles of wine and who knows how many steaks or burgers or whatever the fuck he used to eat.
They said you never really ate.
Andre just drank.
Yeah, wasn't a real big eater.
Got his calories through.
After
fermented grapes.
After 178 beers, what do you really got room for? Fucking a couple of buffalo wings.
Talk about bloat.
Jeez.
Old Horseshoe. Greetings, Mr. Oliver. I've enjoyed watching these videos. I know you from before when we were children. I've been watching A&E's Legends and Rivals series with great enjoyment. I've started collecting the action figures. You know me. You might say you're shot. My grandfather went for Hogan, but I always liked Piper. Dominoes and Darkseid. Thank you, everybody. I know who this is. And I could do a whole show on this individual. I'll call him I'll call him Zeta, so he can still say anonymous. I think he has a family now. So if you can imagine a character somewhere between, very intelligent, probably I think might have been the valedictorian, or maybe number 2 in the class, to the Cuban doctor son. But if you can imagine a character between maybe someone on Big Bang Theory, one of those kids, and Tommy Chong, with the amount of weed he smoked. He said he wanted to smoke so much that he would become a floating entity named Zeta. So I will call him Zeta because that was his goal. His reference to Dominoes and Darkseid, and God, I've forgotten more in life than I remember. When I saw this, I remembered. It's a testament and an actual a recusal of, a refuting of anyone who says that extensive THC use does anything to your memory, because the fact that he remembered this. That was just a reference, I think, in college to so much, so many bong hits to Dark Side of the Moon until I was prone and pretty much unable to do anything but eventually crawl to the phone and dial Dominoes. And just the CD would stay on the loop, and we would just, there was a period, there was a lost summer where me and Zeta would just be locked in his apartment and immobile.
I think I've told the story here before, right? Where I got stoned and fell asleep, and it was on. We had the 8-track.
It was episode 7,
and it was Comfortably Numb, and I woke up and I thought I wrote the motherfucker.
I have a great idea for a song.
I was telling somebody like, "Dude, this Comfortably Numb." I was like, "Oh fuck." Yeah,
Brilliant.
Guess it is.
Yeah, Dark Side and Dominoes, man. But
God, tell me that wasn't great, just stoner music. Is anybody?
Wow, it's amazing. It's an amazing thing. My favorite story of his, though, I have to just tell this before we move on. In one of our stupors, he unearths a videotape that his father made of his father banging these women. Homemade porn. Now, I didn't know his father, so this to me was very amusing. This middle-aged Cuban man riffing in broken English as he tours the bed with this woman. Now, 2 more straight-laced friends of ours are coming to pick us up to take us to a party. And he invites them in. He puts this tape on. And I think they grew up with him, so like they know his father. It was like, and they just sit down on the bed. I remember them covering their mouths like this, watching him go to town on this woman, like posing on the bed. And,
so he's American Psycho in this bitch.
Yeah, it's crazy. It was crazy. It was crazy. All right, Zeta, thanks for checking in.
I know you. I know you.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
That weird for a minute.
What the fuck does that mean? I know. Does that mean I know where you live still? He got what kind of fucking
in my window?
What kind of tapes has he got of you?
I don't know, right? That's true. I might have used his place with a few young women in my time. I don't know if recording devices.
Either that or there might be some kind of like bond with Domino's where you can't jump on the Little Caesars wagon. I don't know.
That wasn't as accessible to us up here. Domino's was here, but I don't know about the Little Caesars deal.
I think Domino's was later in life for us.
Oh yeah, maybe for you guys. Yeah. Joel Delama 23. We were on the wavelengths. LOL. I read this about a month ago. Been reading more Stoic philosophy. I highly recommend checking out Meditations of Marcus Aurelius. Okay, this is you mentioned your reading material and you were working on the subtle art of not giving a fuck. You can pick up the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius to follow up your philosophical readings.
Wasn't that Russell Crowe's character's name in Gladiator?
Was he Marcus Aurelius?
Oh, fuck up. Pretty damn fucking close.
Jack's Dagger. Kevin is one of the few remaining old-timers doing this type of stuff that I have any respect for. Doesn't have a huge chip on his shoulder. Doesn't dump on everything and anything just because the fans are or aren't behind it. Just genuine opinions, and most of the time nothing but positivity. That's why I keep coming back. Keep it up, guys.
Speaking of, I watched the opening match of AEW on Wednesday. I had a DVR when I got home, and Cole was back. Rodney Strong was back, and they had a good match. They had an 8-man at the beginning of the show. It was against the Jericho Appreciation Society. And I liked it because Cole, on several occasions, tried to get to Jericho, who was doing color, and he was cut off. And then finally, Jericho at the end, when Adam went over, and then like beelined right up to Jericho, got to Jericho pretty damn good. And then big ass security came and busted it up. Not, didn't look like somebody's
Not me.
Didn't look like preschoolers. But Jericho sold it like Jericho isn't afraid to like be a heel and give. And he was, but when he comes out, when he comes out, he's got his own Fozzy. The people sing, he's obviously the star. But Orange Cassidy was in the match. Bandito, who I'm not real familiar with. He was,
Mm-hmm.
But and the thing was, like Rodney Cole and did Wesley or Dom or anybody
Adam
see?
Cole.
I mean Adam Cole.
Yeah.
No, Rodney Strong. Rodney Strong though.
Roddy Strong.
Rodney Strong had an open spot. Who did he open with on the Jericho? I mean, the shit was crisp. It just.
Now, are you watching for research? Do you have any intention to ever do anything down there, you think?
No, I just because I spent time with Adam when we were in Manchester, and I just told him, I said, I'll watch, He just said, watch and see if you see anything. I said, all right, because I liked this shit when he was in NXT. And, he's coming off the concussions. So my whole thing was I wanted to make sure he wasn't doing anything fucking stupid. Mm-hmm. And he didn't. He worked smart and strong. I enjoyed the match. Told a good story. Jericho gave something,
Right.
And I moved the story along. So,
all right.
And I think him and Chris have got a match coming up.
Kixie 2023. Oliver thinks he is interesting, but this is a Nash podcast. If he shut up and let Nash talk, I could stay tuned. Now, for those of you guys that need to know how this works on the YouTube comments, you'll see 4 or 5 very similar troll, like, attacking type comments. And when you click in and you see, you can very easily see this is basically the same person who's made 5 accounts to see things. So you find some of the same political tone, and maybe an insult to Kev, an insult to me. Nothing really factual or anything exquisitely written, very base, 3rd grade, sitting in front of the trailer with yesterday's bomb pop still on your mouth with rickets. That type of vibe, that type of mentality. And that's how it works. So that's where you go to. So guys, you can feel free on YouTube, tune out the dipshits, the more, and what, guys, the more that bail because of politics, somehow our numbers go up.
Yep. And the thing is, it's not even, you would think that politics were like farming, were like agriculture, like it's not, this isn't the crop report. We're talking about the United States of America continuing to be a democracy. and it's like, I don't know about the rest of you. I just don't want to live in a fascist. In Florida, shit gets passed all the fucking time. And you don't know about it until it's passed. And it's like, what the fuck? What? They did what? So, yeah, it doesn't work that way.
Right. Well, Kixie, sorry to see you go. I'm sorry I talked too much for you. Maybe I'm
it's really hard.
Equally as entertaining podcast.
It's really hard to have a conversation with one person talking. I've tried it before. Most of the time, you end up in a fucking 72-hour observation.
I was going to say, well, Kixie's side of the ward, that must happen a lot. Guys, tomorrow night, the debut of Nash and Friends. I'm so excited with X-Pac, Sean Waltman. We're going to cover the action.
That'll be it. It'll be Nash and Friend.
Well, you could the aggregation of all episodes are all your friends. But we'll be there. Me and Sean, Sean Squared, will be representing
yes,
two of the many Seans.
Two of my three friends.
When I'm on the phone with Kevin, if Tamara's like, "Who are you on the phone with?" He's like, "Sean." I mean Oliver. So remember, you got to be part of the 11 Soft level of members, and you'll be allowed inside, and you'll be on camera, you'll be participating, chilling, asking questions. So sign up now. KliqThisTV.com.
This is a really good like. There's a spot. I'm not going to blow it, but there's a spot in here that every time I've ever seen it, I pop like fuck that Waltman does in this match. It was one of Scott's favorite spots that kid ever did. So we'll
keep it as a surprise for tomorrow night.
Yeah, we'll keep it for tomorrow night.
I want to bring up Joe Biden for a moment because he mentioned there was a piece in the Saturday Times about a comment he made about slowing delivery and export of chips, the high-end, high-speed computer chips to China. He said for a competitive advantage. Okay, so that was a business spin. But when you dig deeper, the article covers it. These chips are going to be part of an arms race, basically, as AI begins to creep more. It's already there. Begins to creep further and more sophisticatedly, if that's even a word, into weaponry and the development of arms. I didn't know this, Kevin. I mentioned it to you, and you had heard about it. The Patriot missile devices have an automated mode that they could go into off of manual. They say it has to be supervised by an adult, overseen by an adult, but it can go in to automated mode. So when you consider how many opportunities for weaponry, I mean, this is Hollywood coming to life now, and these chips are what are going to be driving this artillery and these complicated...
And you also see the batteries of Patriot missiles that we have sent to the Ukraine. While people say, well, we must have troops over there because how could they work such a sophisticated system? Duh! Siri's running it.
Yeah, I mean, look at ChatGPT. I mean, you can have a conversation with your computer who knows anything. So
you can actually, I actually use my mine to sell real estate to the Supreme Court members. It's crazy.
You'll have some takers, at least one.
Oh yeah.
And
and you would think that a guy that loves Wal Mart and trailer parks would not be really into selling real estate to billionaires, but then again, what the fuck do I know?
Probably some Daytona Beach waterfront property.
Old Long Dong.
Also, some lots at least.
Yeah.
Primed for development.
Absolutely.
But to get to the chips.
Did you see that thing I sent you?
I watched the video. I'm going to bring it up in a second. We're slowing the delivery of chips to Asia. What can I infer from this? Can I say that they don't have the technology to produce this yet in that part of the world? I find that hard to believe.
Well, they do, because the number 90% of all semiconductor chips are manufactured in Taiwan. That's why China is decided that they've claimed it as part of their territory, because they can't. All China can do is counterfeit. They can replicate, but they can't create.
Can't create, right?
So, name the last great Chinese film you watched. I'll wait. But at the same time, if this, I don't think I'd be letting them motherfuckers just do whatever they want. Like, I'm not going to have a drill with the South Koreans next to the North Korean border to piss off, when I should be making sure that, because what the fuck, let's take care of the chips. We had the pandemic, and we didn't sell a car for 3 fucking years.
Yeah, and it's still that whole industry is still upside down because of that.
Yeah,
it's an interesting aspect to the arms development that I hadn't considered that is going to be on my mind now.
See, and that's so when we talk politics and we talk the rudimentary Tucker Carlson, Trump, Biden politics, that's kind of like fucking playing the game sorry. You just fucking roll a dice and you go around, you tap a guy and you go, sorry! And you got to go back to the beginning. Then there's geopolitical shit that fucking makes the earth end. And that is, if you want to really talk, you guys can sit there with the fucking, at the little kids' table at Thanksgiving your whole life. I'd rather be at the big boy table. I don't give a fuck.
Well, I think they lump it all into the same basket. We're talking about the very small percentage of people that come.
Get it. They don't even get it. Like
they just love their person. They're fully indoctrinated. You can't talk about Tucker or Trump. And they throw this into this isn't politics. Something like this, talking about the arms development and chip development, and how AI is going to be incorporated into weapons, and they are now. We don't even really know it. That's not politics.
No.
And for anyone keeping score, because those douchebags are on there sometimes too. You all say you're centrist, but I was critical of Joe Biden, saying he didn't go into enough detail about why exactly. Not critical, but I brought up a question as to why we can't really know why chips are being slowed to that part of the world. It's an arms competition, not a business competition. And earlier we were talking about the fucking wall and that had gotten out of control down there. And we've done this for weeks. So clearly these people don't listen. Guys, it's one person making 4 accounts just being stupid. You just got to ignore the trolls.
Like we talked about earlier. If the Democrats would fucking play hardball and be like fucking Johnson and get a Senate subcommittee and climb up Thomas's ass and just fucking keep feeding that fire, there'll be so much fucking smoke you won't be able to see the fucking illegal aliens crossing the
Hopping over the wall.
No, not a chance. I mean, it's like, but the fucking the Dems don't do that.
No, I've said for a long time they had what was the phrase when Clinton was running? They go low, we go high.
Fuck that.
Doesn't always work. You got to swing back.
I say do the Ronnie Lott. Fucking hit them up high and pray somebody takes them off down low. Fuck that, man.
Ronnie Lott, number 42.
Hit them. Hit them motherfuckers.
Hall of Fame cornerback. Cornerback or safety?
Oh, fuck. Beast.
Safety.
What?
Beast. Safety.
Fucking roaming linebacker.
Always look forward to it. It's a perfect pair for our friends at Blue Chew, who sometimes also sponsor this segment. But this week, Manscaped is bringing us a home video Okay, of somebody who, not one of Zeta's or his father, but
I thought we were going to see Ricky Ricardo fucking somebody.
this was
Babalu.
This was an Eagles fan who probably wagered a little too much money than he should have on the Super Bowl. And here's him watching his money dissipate in the form of a field goal.
Hey, look, I got too much fucking money on this shit, man. No! You don't fucking understand. Fuck your bet, man. Hey, you pay me, man. Fuck out my face, man.
Steve, I wanted you to play the stiff one. That's House Party 3. That's coming out next week. I was looking for the stiff one of the week. Kev, you ever lose that amount of money where that became your living room?
And you add 400 for the Roku on the wall?
Those of you listening, that was a TV being destroyed in a sea of profanity, is exactly that was for our many listeners out there.
Number one, how the fuck did he not think the guy was going to hit a 23-yard field goal? He was. I would have fucking smashed it before the play. Why?
I was going to say, TV wouldn't have even played the kick.
Exactly. Fuck that. Wouldn't it have made more sense just to walk out the fucking room before the kick?
You don't want. Why watch it? Why watch it? Dear Sexy, two actual letters to Dear Abby from the annals of
Anals.
From the annals there of Dear Abby's collection. What if they asked Kevin Nash? What if they asked Big Sexy instead of Dear Abby? What advice would they have gotten? Let's find out. Dear Sexy, because of a serious illness that resulted from taking a certain medication, I recently received a settlement of more than $1 million. I have invested most of the money and have a cash flow sufficient to take care of emergencies and a few luxuries. I must make sure that these funds will cover medical expenses for the remainder of my life. Ever since I received the settlement, my family, children, parents, siblings, think I'm very rich and that my money is their money too. They constantly ask me to bail them out of one financial mess or another, or buy them luxury items. I have helped them out of tight spots in the past, but they have always squandered their money and have never saved a dime for the future. I go to bed at night sick to my stomach because of the guilt trips they put on me when I refuse their requests for money. They expect me to pay for everything. Sexy, am I being selfish? That's from SF in Colorado.
Well, number one, sit him the fuck down. And I mean, $1 million? Jesus, you couldn't. If you were 73 years old and they gave you $1 million, you might have enough to fucking make it to you croak. Fucking hell, man, that's nothing in today's world. And he's using he invested. Bought himself a couple of things, and he's going to pick up his medical expenses.
Correct.
And
the children are bilking him dry. Or her. It didn't say. It didn't say if it was a woman or a man.
I'm sorry, man. It's just, I tell people all the time that the Bank of Nash is closed. You know?
Was there a time where you were getting phone calls?
Because
when you were first hitting it?
Yeah, people always, there's a lot of people, man, that even friends, guys in the business, that fucking borrow $5,000 and fucking fly down here to borrow $5,000 more. I'm like, well, you didn't pay the last $5,000. Well, I will. With what? The $5,000 I'm going to give you?
Wow.
Like, what the fuck, man?
But when it's family, children, difficult, right? But you're saying that SF in San Francisco, Colorado rather, should sit them down and say, done. Handle your own
Yeah,
shit.
because who's going to be there for me when this shit runs out? My stepdad got bilked, just absolutely fucked over, and
Why'd you do it to him though?
no, he got remarried, and that his
kids from the first marriage.
from his second.
Oh, from his second.
Fucking just, and he signs, co-sign something, and they'd fucking go belly up on it, and just fuck that shit. You number one, don't let them start, and shame on you for fucking waiving the settlement in the first place.
Well, I think that they probably, it sounded like the kids weren't aware of how much they all thought there was an endless amount of money. I think.
Well, how would they know?
I
wouldn't tell them that I had any in the first place. I wouldn't tell I got the settlement. It was $40,000. Can you imagine how fucking pissed off I am? That's what you do. Then they don't come around asking for fucking money. If you tell them I want $1 million to most fucking losers is a lot of money.
Buys a lot of meth.
Especially if you throw some cut on that bitch.
That's right. Stretch that shit. Dear Sexy, I'm 27 years old. When I was 18, I got married because my girlfriend was pregnant. We're now divorced, and my son lives with me because my ex refused to be responsible for him. She ran off with her new boyfriend. I've just learned that my son isn't really my son after all. My ex finally admitted to me that she had always known he wasn't mine and that his real father died of a drug overdose in 1996. A DNA test will prove it this week. I'm extremely frustrated because I don't feel I should have to take care of a child who isn't even mine. I love the boy, but I don't feel he's my responsibility anymore. I was tricked into being his father. I would have taken the job had I known 8 years ago he was someone else's. We have a very close relationship, and it doesn't sound like it, bro. No. And I take good care of him, but I would like to live my life for myself and do what I want when I want, like his mother does. I can't do that because he's my responsibility. I know he needs me and loves me. I'm afraid of what it would do to him if I sent him to live with his mother so I could live my life. I'm so confused, Sexy. Could you give me any advice so that I can compromise my desires and his needs? Signed, Used in North Carolina.
Most of the times when you're contemplating something like this, it always helps if in the background you hear, Jerry, Jerry, Jerry.
Total episode.
I mean, did Chris Christopherson write that? Was it fucking walking contradiction? I mean, he's either your kid or he's not. I mean, blood's one thing, but if you've raised a kid and you guys are tight, what exactly are you going to do? You're going to be miserable if you give him back to the mom. Like when she fucking bolted on the first, that's when you do the DNA test,
right?
When you started that,
like...
and you said I got married when I was 18 because my wife got pregnant. I was going to say, was it yours? That was the first thing that was going to come out of my mouth.
And the kid's 9 now, right? He said he's 27, 18. So, 8 or 9.
Fuck, dude.
It's a little late in the game to kick him to the curb. It's pretty fucked, actually.
It looks like you got another 9 seasons before you can kick him to the curb. So,
yeah. Exactly.
Get him in a fucking trade school, man. Get that motherfucker welding on the side when he's 12. Get him bring it home $30K. Fuck it, man.
You can carry an acetylene torch when you're 9, strapped to your back, right?
Oh yeah. You can, worst case scenario, if I can learn to do some AI, if I can run a Patriot unit.
So I ran into Billy Corgan in the newspaper today. They did a little, like the top 10, I think they call it, or 10 best or something in the Times. And I got to thinking about his wrestling career and his time in creative. And some other names came to mind. And I wonder from a wrestler's perspective, working for someone, it's a different time now, I understand. But there was a credibility years ago, okay? So, like, let's talk about 70s maybe, okay? And a credibility to people that you were taking orders from or that were giving you creative direction. And there was maybe some credibility, some creds that you would have wanted in professional wrestling. Being a fan and having money from another form of entertainment wouldn't have cut it. Like Tony Orlando couldn't have walked into the Louisville Gardens, no matter how much money he had, and been allowed to become a member of creative.
Now, if it would have came with Dawn.
Depends on what angle he was booking.
Exactly.
But, I mean, it's a different story now, right? So Billy Corgan, a fan, and I think was first involved in the Chicago-based indie promotion called Resistance Pro.
Wasn't Bob Mould with us before that?
Bob Mould, I'm going to cover him entirely because that's another question that I always like. I ask Russo on camera. I feel like Mould was like late 90s Monday Night War type.
When
era,
I was
right?
Yeah, because I was like at that point like in charge of creative, but not in charge.
Unofficially.
Yeah.
De facto.
And I remember Bob's first meeting, and Bob came in, sat down, and I said, Bob, I like your opinion. He says, too much talking, not enough fighting. And I was just like, oh, good. I agree.
Now, were you a fan of like Husker Du
Yeah.
or Sugar?
Yeah.
Before
And
that,
I knew Bob's work.
but getting in, like, how the fuck do you? He said, I'll read a quote from him. He said he had a friend who was working there.
Trying to say, he
WWE.
was our
WCW, I mean.
at that point. His friend was a dark-headed guy. He was thin. He had taken over for maybe Kip Fry or he was one. No, this is after. This is, let me think. It was like, I think Bill Burke maybe, or I forget what that guy's name was. But he had like a higher up.
Yeah, he said that he was.
That was a friend of his, and he asked Bob to sit in.
99, September of 99 we're talking about here. And he said a position opened up at World Championship Wrestling in Atlanta. I had a friend who was working there. He came into More Power, and he said, we want to bring you in as a consultant. So he joined the company, and he was on the road with you guys, right? He was like a legit...
Yeah, and we would do... We'd write on Wednesday and Thursday, and we'd stay at the Hyatt Suites on Windy Hill Road, and we would always go, the first night we'd go to Hashigachi, sushi across the street, and Sullivan, me, Mike Graham, Bob, and me would eat sushi and carry our conversations on. And, no, Bob had good ideas.
And so none of you guys, because we're talking about, I mean, Sullivan goes back to the 70s, and, I mean, Mike Graham's legacy with Eddie. No one's skeptical that a musician wrestling fan, is coming in and given
no, because I think
legitimate.
I think what happens is
writing power.
You get to a point of it. You don't necessarily have to have been in the business to come up with a good idea. You know, a good idea is a good idea. So.
But I guess there was that perception, right, at one time that
I think
you're an outsider. You're not in the business.
I think so earlier. I think so. You know that. You know, back when one guy had the pencil,
right,
and he was booking. But as soon as it went to the committee, and there was 8 or 9, people, 10 people in a room, I mean, it really just was a situation where it just bogged down the process.
What about with the boys, though? Were they more reticent to take direction from him? Or was he not giving direction to the boys? He was just writing?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't like he timed matches and worked like guerrilla. He didn't go and I think what the term they use it now is a producer.
Right.
But back when I was, it was just called the agent of the match.
Would he be like doing the whole headphone deal, talking
Yeah,
to the refs? Maybe,
yep.
or
He was
telling them the
times with the ref and all that stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then developing angles with you guys.
Yeah.
With Nakimori Sushi and all that.
Yep.
You could knock out all those writing all those programs in 2 nights, just Wednesday and Thursday, because you guys had you had Monday Nitro, 3 hours.
You had to. This is what you had to do. You had to write the next Nitro. Then you had to write the next Thunder. Then you had to write the next Nitro because we did 2 Thunders. So you had to write 10 hours of TV in 2 days if you wanted to get home on Friday and see your family for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday before you flew out Sunday night to go back on the road.
And your run would be Monday, Tuesday, and then work Wednesday, Thursday, off Friday.
Yeah.
Shit would change all the time, obviously, in WCW. So even Nitro writing was very loosely cemented, obviously. You had to be. You're writing 2 weeks in advance, you're saying.
Well, I mean, the second Nitro was just kind of a blueprint to get to the Thunder, which, a lot of times fucking somebody would get hurt on that Thunder, and you couldn't tell any story to get to that Thunder because the person was down, so you couldn't use them that Monday prior. It was a fucking shit show.
Wow. Yeah. And how did Mould do?
Good.
Was he there till the implosion in 2001? Or
I think he was there till Russo came in and Russo took over.
Now back to Billy Corgan for a minute, because he gets a spot in TNA as like creative talent development type situation, and
I actually was brought in when he got that deal to shoot the reality show.
Yeah, what they were gonna do? The hell was that?
I don't know if it's A&E or fucking
AMC.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I got brought in, and Raven was on that with me. Raven and I went to a TV in Chicago together, and they were filming backstage, and it just they were trying to shoot reality TV and kayfabe at the same time.
Somebody should have seen that as a bad idea before the cameras rolled.
I concur.
That was in 2014, I think, right before the TNA thing. He leaves TNA in November of 2016 after a dispute about not being paid on time. We know the feeling. And subsequently, Anthem Sports and Entertainment and Impact Ventures, the parent company of TNA Impact.
Who still owns them?
Yeah, but now he buys in it. Doesn't he buy in at some point? It's in 2016 he loans money to Anthem Sports to fund TNA, and they
guys look up what Billy's net worth is.
Alleged now.
Yeah, alleged.
We can't speak to the accuracy here.
No, but they'll give it. It's. I usually say it's half the time. It's either half or So they're saying 60 million. So
They say they give Billy credit for the Matt Hardy broken thing.
that's Jeremy Borash.
But I've heard that, but then I heard that Billy was the influence.
No,
And Dave Lagana.
Borash. That's all. It's all
Okay.
Borash's.
You heard it here first.
That's Borash's Paparazzi Productions was me and Borash. Borash is absolutely a breed above. Well, he's Triple H's like right hand man.
When you talk about outsider creative types, don't forget the oft unacknowledged Bea Arthur years. Okay, like when I think Vince Sr. gave her the book after losing a game of strip cribbage against Willie Gilzenberg and Phil Zacco backstage at the Zembo Mosque.
That's actually when Bob Backlund got the strap.
Shortly after that, yeah. Bea actually booked, I think, a Carol Channing straight off of a Love Boat episode as a manager for Moolah in an untelevised tomahawk to the match against Princess Victoria. I know you saw that one.
I didn't. Though I'm a huge Gavin McLeod fan.
I love a little Gavin McLeod in the evening.
That's right, you are. You're like a fucking Love Boat junkie.
Listen, I went back. How do you know this?
Because we've had this conversation that we've talked about guilty pleasures, and one of yours is fucking the Love Boat.
I recently this year, on a whim, like fucking around, I put on the theme song. I wanted to hear the opening song. Love, exciting and new. Anyone over 40 knows it. And I just wanted to hear the theme song. And then I let the episode play. And I just fell into the half mocking, half watching world of 70s episodic television and production.
That fucking Love Boat Fantasy Island back to back was about as good as it got.
Was it Friday nights?
Pretty sure.
Yeah, Friday or Saturday nights, I think.
You talking about a simpler time?
Yes, it gets no simpler than that.
Oh, fuck.
Actually, I start, like, after a couple of episodes, if I leave that shit on, like if I'm writing or whatever, I start looking for the rotary phone.
Jerking off to a Playboy.
Exactly, a little hand-eye coordination. I get up to change the dial on the TV. I actually tape the remote to the side so I can get up and like relive the whole thing. Grow my bush in wild and full.
Push right by the Astroglide and grab the KY.
Yeah, the horrific Vaseline beating in the shower. Hey, what about Freddie Prinze Jr.? What interactions did you have with him? None.
Just on Rivals when he came back and did the Rivals thing.
Is it true that he got that spot after kind of like an impromptu conversation with Stephanie? Like he and Macaulay Culkin are in Orlando for the Hall of Fame or WrestleMania, both, I guess. And he's like introduced to Stephanie, and he's a guy with really cool ideas, but also a famous actor. And she's like, hey, you should talk to the old man. You should talk to my dad. And he's given an audience with Vince and hired. This is what I hear, that it was all that kind of...
I wasn't there.
Happenstantial. Nash drinking his colostrum, his plastic tit. You can probably hear it getting...
Excuse me.
But I didn't even think the draw of celebrity, unless it's like, I don't fucking know, like who the biggest Lady Gaga, whoever the biggest pop star in the world would be.
When we did the Rivals show, man, that guy knew his wrestling, man. He had watched it from conception. It was like fucking he knew wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt he was a legit fan, but through a conversation what the quote I'm reading here is that Steph was impressed that he had notes on the brand without crapping all over it. And that alone was a suggestion for an audience with the Godfather.
I think at that point they had, they had so many fucking writers.
I don't know. Was it that dense?
I walked in there at times, man, and I didn't know if it was if they were writing wrestling or fucking they were running a fucking boiler room. Fucking
Right.
selling penny stock. I didn't know what the fuck was going on back then.
I think he took his entire salary in company stock so as not to, I guess, dampen the bottom line
Well, fuck.
or darken the bottom
It
line.
was a good move if he's still got it at 108 a
But
share.
you're over 100 now, right?
108.
He got burnt out, though, from what I hear, right? Total burnout.
I think what
He was
happened.
a new dad, I think.
Wasn't it something like where Austin cut a promo and it was like it was about some like a woman that wanted to get into wrestling, and Steve said, "Ben, if you want to, she wanted to get into wrestling to make life better for her family." And he said, "Man, if you want to make life better for your family, don't get in this because you'll never fucking see your family." And
You're right. He heard that.
he heard that, and he walked up to the gorilla and gave Vince his 2-week notice.
That's correct. Yeah.
I only know that because you sent that in the notes to me. I don't want to act like I'm fucking smart over here.
This is all supposed to be off the cuff, isn't it?
Huh?
This is all supposed to be off the cuff, isn't it?
Yeah, but
We're just good actors.
This was Saturday, fucking in the park. We're about an hour
With
before
Kevin, an
hour before the show. We're like,
Didn't set his
what
watch.
do you got? Nothing. I got nothing. I'm watching the Miami New York Knicks game. Fucking Miami's up 19. I'm like, well, thinking to myself, if I go down to the condo and start the show by myself earlier, I'll catch the ending of the game. What the fuck?
You thought we were rolling at 5 today, didn't you?
Yeah.
Who today? You've met other people in entertainment, obviously.
As I sit, I come down here and you said, no, we're going at 6. I'm like, oh, okay, fine. So as I get on Twitter for the first time in like 6 days, and there's my mug saying, see you at 6. I'm like, wow, maybe if you fucking picked up your phone occasionally, that's one thing. People like that are around me, they'll sit there like, dude, do you even look at your phone? I'm like, yeah, I look at it.
Occasionally.
Like, you know.
Well, you're not phone obsessed like the younger generation today. It's an appendage. My fucking kids, they get out of the car. They're like, I can't carry, I only have one hand. I said, no, you can carry it because your other hand is holding a phone. They think it's like an appendage. They think it's a finger. It's legitimate to say I only have one hand because you got your fucking phone in your hand.
It's a chip.
Good Christ.
Now,
Who today in entertainment? Who could be in creative? Who do you talk to? Adam Rodriguez. Who is it that would make a good writer for WWE or your friends at AEW? Your close friends at AEW. Close billionaire friends at AEW.
I don't know.
Nobody talks wrestling to you on a set?
No. Joe did. Joe was a wrestling fan.
Joe Green? Mean Joe Green of Pittsburgh Steelers fame?
Magliano.
Oh, Joe Magliano. That's it?
Yeah.
Maybe you can get him hooked up, do a run-in.
He's got the body.
All right. It is time for your public to reach out to you. Like Franco Rivera, who says, love you guys podcast. It always makes my Mondays go by with a laugh. I love the pizza talk and was wondering, when you were playing at UT, did you ever go to Big Ed's Pizza in Oak Ridge?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah? You remember
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Big Ed was a man. He was every bit of 300, if not more.
Good for him. He's
But
happy as hell.
he threw it. And Oak Ridge is where that's where the whole nuclear fucking, that's the birthplace of nuclear fission. Oak Ridge, Tennessee.
And Ed's Pizza, as I understand.
And Big Ed's Pizza. I'm not kidding you. I probably have been there. Eventually, we got a Mr. Gaddy's actually on the strip. Yeah, I used to go up there. At the time, I was dating one of the Oak Ridge boys, so I would go up. I would go up to Oak Ridge and get a pizza.
Cut a few tracks.
Get blown in the back of a truck, and then
If this is Big Ed still there?
Yeah.
Wow.
I heard it's still there.
All right. Well, I'm sure we'll find out. Send photos, people, of that. Not Kevin with one of the Oak Ridge boys. BC, Kevin, what were your thoughts on the old World War III battle royals in WCW? I liked them at the time, but man, they just threw any guy with a pair of tights out there. Thank you for getting me through Mondays.
If it wasn't for me winning the Battle Royal in Auburn Hills, I would not have made it to Starrcade in '97.
Now, the format of the World War III Battle Royals differed how?
Made no fucking sense.
Correct. Good answer.
Everybody started in the ring. It was like, it was that WCW never understood that the reason the Rumble works is because fucking people running down and the countdown.
Actually see what's going on in the fucking ring.
And there's the anticipation of who's next, and is it going to be somebody from the past? Like there's so many intangibles that you can be excited about instead of just starting out as this person said with a bunch of every motherfucker that showed up that day with a pair of tights.
Right.
So.
I remember as a kid, though, I used to dig like the MSG Battle Royals in the 70s where everybody from the card that night was in there at once and
I hated
trying
all
to figure
that.
out who's going to win. And OIF, you got to help me with this. I had to say this name to the individual there. OIF, IIOIF 0709 vet. Maybe it's a military thing. When the Iron Sheik was caught with hacksaw in an attempt to save kayfabe, should the WWE have used this to incorporate a storyline where the American hero got brainwashed into an Iranian cult? Kind of like the MAGA folk these days.
I think didn't they wait and do that with when he joined the Iraqis?
Yes, inexplicably,
Yeah.
they threw Sergeant Slaughter together with Adnan al-Kaisi and the Iron Sheik, who became Colonel Mustafa.
Every time that we were on the road and somebody would, during the daytime, if we were because we couldn't smoke back then, but we could drink at all times. So we'd have maybe it was like fuck, let's have a couple of beers in the afternoon, and we'd be driving and somebody would like tip a beer like going through an intersection or something like that, and somebody would inevitably in the car say, "Keep it fucking down." That's how fucking Sheik and Duggan got busted. But they were fucking doing the fucking gimmick.
Yes.
Fucking. You ever hear the story where Sheik's going through customs and they've made a bust and there's like the drugs are back there and the Mounties are going through it and Sheik says, "Mr. Mountie, maybe small sample for the Sheik." And then another time, they're going through, and Sheik's got like a half an ounce of coke, and they're going through, and he takes it out of his bag and throws it into John Nord's bag.
Berserker.
And fucking, they get through customs. They get to the building, and Sheik says, "Nord, I have my cocaine in your bag." Nord's like, "What are you motherfucker?" Nord wanted to kill him. She couldn't, like, what? You were already...
He didn't understand.
He was already through.
Unbelievable. Can we do a Sheik segment every week just so that he's a part of this show in some way every week?
Fuck, he's a part of it. The Sheik is the fucking... He's the man.
Maybe a Nash and an upcoming Nash and Friends with Kaz.
What if we could get Kaz on?
I think we could. I mean, I could get to him. I haven't seen him in a while. I don't know how he's doing. I hope he's as entertaining as he once was. I'm gonna have to look into that. We have to do that.
Right? You ever see the one when he's gonna pull his cock out on fucking Howard Stern? I'll put like 10-inch cock.
That was on Opie and Anthony, and I was there. That we were promoting the roast. We were sitting there, and Opie or Anthony or Jim Norton, whoever was up there at the time, said, "We will plug you every day, Sheik, if you pull that out and we could see if it's 10-inch." And he's got his hand in his fucking pants. And he's looking at his father, Eric Sims. He's going, "Eric, I do it, Bubba? I do it?" Eric's looking at me. I go, "I plug every day all week. I plug. There's only a few of us in here. Take it out. Take it out." And he stood up, and something happened. He was in front of me. So from my vantage point, I wasn't able to meet gaze. It might have been negative inches because I didn't see anything protrude also from my vantage point. So I think he did it. But that was on Opie and Anthony. Yeah, that was amazing.
Well, obviously nobody fucking put it over, so it must not have been.
No, I don't think much was going. But it was very cold in the studio. You get a little nervous when you're on air there, so I understand. How about questions from the audience? I'm sure people have some things they'd like to ask Kevin. Do you have any of those ready? Ready to rock? Kevin, has a wrestling character like Diesel, Undertaker, or Hulk Hogan, was it annoying or insulting if people come up and address you by your real name back when the business was more protected?
Never bothered me.
But did anyone ever call Hulk Hogan Terry back then?
No, I did.
Oh, well, you. I'm talking about some kid looking for an autograph.
I think I used to drive him crazy because I used to call, Lex Larry, Sting Steve.
It's one of those.
I still call CM Punk Phil. It's ridiculous. If I know
I think so too.
I know your real fucking
character,
name, right?
No one on the set of Taxi called.
No.
Danny DeVito
Latka.
Louie
Latka.
Oh, you're right. Latka. Actually, he might have demanded he be called Latka, basically.
True.
Thank you, David. Anyone else in the audience want to send something our way? You will be heard. Eric loves my shirt tonight. It is an Express shirt, so you can get this at Express for Men.
They also he can also get it for Express for Women.
Well, I left the goalie out of the net. You had to fucking shoot, huh?
Fuck, we're down a goal. You got me sucking Biden's cock. Fuck. I can't hit you with a woman's shirt reference. Fuck you.
You graduated to the Oak Ridge Boys. I think they call that a step up. Ryan Chenoweth, I met HBK in '97 at my sister's work, Wal Mart. But my sister met Nash about 5 years ago. She put me on the phone with Kev. Do you remember somebody at a Walmart putting you on the phone with a worker? With a worker at you remember a worker at Walmart putting you on the phone with her brother?
Okay. She met Shawn Michaels at her sister's work.
Ryan met HBK there. This is
Walmart.
We're like two detectives
At Walmart.
Right, but my sister met Nash about 5 years ago. I assumed at Walmart, and then she.
I don't think I've ever been in a fucking Walmart.
I was gonna say, boy, that's a revelation there.
No, I really don't. I think one time I went.
Were you looking for this shirt?
Yes, and over in the fucking Jacqueline Smith collection.
A whole dick, Kev, you can have right now. Instagram, a wrestling historian says, what's a money match that Kev wanted to do but didn't happen for whatever reason? Thanks in advance. A main event match that you would have wanted to have that never happened.
Shit, me in Austin.
Just timing.
I mean, I was as close as you can get. I was runner-up. I was Miss Congeniality at WrestleMania 18.
right? Let's see. Sean Kitts.
Steve and I were too close. He didn't want to beat me.
Well, who would have done the job? There's the question. You know, you're both
Shit,
professionals.
me.
You would have done the job.
I'd have done the job
Steve.
for fuck. God damn, man. In a heartbeat.
Sean Kitts would like to know if JackKnife is going to be available in any other states anytime soon. What are you hearing about that?
No, somehow Flair came down here and did some into Florida and did some personal appearances for Drip, and I'm like, how the fuck did that happen? I talked to my guys, and so then I talked to Rick about it, and Rick's looking into it for me. So I'm gonna see if we can get some JackKnife moved around. Maybe I'd be happy if we just get this bitch in Florida so I could smoke it.
All right. Call Ronnie. He's busy with Disney. Anything else from the audience before we go? Lindsay, besides Jimmy's and Sabatino's, what's your favorite restaurant in Baltimore?
So it's kind of hard to go against Jimmy's. I don't think I've eaten anywhere but Jimmy's in the last 10 years.
No, which was Sabatino's?
Sabatino's was the Italian place down I don't know what that's called, that area down there. That was Flair, Flair and all those guys used to go there, so then you had to go because Flair was, he was the champ. So
is Baltimore going to happen in July? Is a live show happening? What do you know about this? Do I have to get on the phone?
Little Italy.
It's
that's
in
right.
Little Italy. We should have guessed from the name Sabatino.
I don't know.
It wasn't in the
because
little Jewish area.
I don't know because.
Are you booked? What's the deal?
No, I'm fucking wide open. But Jesus,
That's what
this my trying to squell my personal appearances is not done. It doesn't went very well. It just seems like I'm on a fucking plane more than I've ever been. It's just.
Well, I mean, it seems that that there's some stuff going on there, right, in Baltimore. Then, so it would maybe make you maybe be there anyway.
If I wanted to get on a fucking plane,
we'll see. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you've been doing plenty of that. Are you booked pretty solidly?
No, I'm not. I'm like one a month after I think my wife goes on that cruise. When I get back from Colombia, and then I have like a week with my wife, and then she's gone for like 15 days or 16 days. Mm-hmm. So then after that, it's just like, fuck it, it'll be nice just to sit and hang out with my wife.
Yeah. But if you're not still doing that in July.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. It depends on
we'll
somebody's going to have to make it worth my while.
Brandon Douglas, if you could have won the WCW tag titles during your first run, who would you have wanted to be your tag partner? And why would it have been El Gigante? El Gigante. Love the show, you and Sean Rock.
It wouldn't have been me and El Gigante. Who the fuck was going to work?
George, get in there. I'm tired.
I would have liked to have had Arn.
Arn,
yeah. That motherfucker's a workhorse. Me and Arn wrestled. We wrestled some matches together. When I was growing my hair back, I was underneath the mask, and we wrestled the Steiners for a couple of loops. We had good matches with them.
I got to ask you something about Arn. I'm another project I'm working on that you know about. I've had to watch the NWO parody of the Four Horsemen a couple of times to cover that, and you of course did Arn in a very unflattering light. What was your relationship with Arn before the segment? After the segment, did it change at all?
It was great before. It wasn't great after. As many times as I have apologized.
But you know what? The way It's very stiff. There's no way to deny that. Very consistent with the NWO characters, though. They would have been behaving that way. But something, though, that somebody that's very close to you said to me when we were working on this was, it was pitched by Terry Taylor. And could have been the stupidest thing. You guys go out and imitate the Horsemen. So in the wrong hands, if you didn't go all the way beyond the limits, it could have just been a bunch of bad impersonations, not pushing the envelope. So you almost had to do that to make it work.
That was in Pensacola, and it was crazy because it's the first time I've ever done anything, and maybe the only time I've ever done anything, where the response of the crowd was more like a comedy store than it was a wrestling arena. They didn't. It was just laughter. It was like like you would pop them, throughout the skit, and it was completely a different. It was wild to be in front of 9,000 people doing basically stand-up comedy, but just kind of improv. Kind of improv. So. Yeah,
I watch it and I say, "There's oh god."
And that was before anybody did a parody on anybody. There was the Macho Mads and a couple things, after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you they're saying here the receipt with there's a receipt where Arn fucking drills me. It's on tape too, where he comes down and I'm on the apron or something like that. And he drills me. It's a good recito.
Mm-hmm. Understandable.
Yeah, I called it even.
Everyone's a big boy. Hi, Kev. Are you a fan of any of the Napa Valley wines? Asking because I've bottled some from that area, and you like wine. That's from Smiley OR.
Yeah, Napa's as good an area as you're going to get.
What grapes specifically are they?
Cabs.
Cabernet, yes.
Yeah, especially Hull Mountain.
Very good.
Hull Mountain is the only area that gets a little shade, so you got a little succulent grape over there.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is a fine time, Kevin, to remind everyone that Kliq This is a production of Butch and Sundance Media, produced in association with Podcast Heat. Producer Steve Kaufman, graphics by Dominic D'Angelo, created by Tristan Nash, Kevin Nash, and Sean Oliver, title sequence and audio edit by Wesley Burleson, theme song by Dale Oliver, technical research by Tristan Nash, copyright 2023, Butch and Sundance Media. Kev, if everything goes well in Columbia, let's do another one. Would you like to?
Yeah, hopefully fucking I'll be out of pain.
You'd be able to headbang.
Oh, no. I won't be doing that, but fucking... Man, if I could get 70% of this pain gone. Ugh.
Mm-hmm. Well, good. I hope it does happen. And everybody else, don't forget tomorrow night. If you're listening or watching on Monday, it'll be Tuesday, May 16th, for the Nash and Friends watch along, where it's Kev, me, and X-Pac, Sean Waltman, all together having fun, and you will be with us asking questions and having fun.
And I'm going to do a half hour on the Cody Rhodes Brock Lesnar match alone.
That'll be immediately following Nash and Friends. That'll be called Nash Alone. Nash Solo. Deuces, y'all.
Peace.